I think if he hadn't done that, he parked his car in Collis, they could have kicked him out.
Takes no effort to be precise.
But he moved his house on Monday.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
There's no giving them.
Rent accommodation next year on
What
Monday.
you actually play with
Yeah.
a note, it's like it's a
He's got
direct
places.
pressure on the note.
Yeah.
Right, it's cool.
You just can't miss them. You
Very
just...
clever.
A couple of weeks ago, or last week, we played Brecon Fringe Festival, and we did 4 gigs. We were meant to do 4 gigs, and the 4th one was we were bumped off by some covers band, and so there's a lot of disappointed people around. So next morning we got offered a gig at Theatre Brecaniog in Brecon. And although we'd been doing Greed the Rock Opera as a 5-piece with a guest appearance by Ian Milton as Rodkin, a gig at the theatre meant that we'd have to up our game a bit. And so this gig now in February is going to be an all singing, all dancing thing. You can have the final say on it, I think. Such a show-off bit. Rodkin is the bad guy in Greed. He represents the 1%. He's a banker, industrialist. He's an all-round bad guy. He's performed by Ian Milton and gets some really good tunes to sing. He sings Cookies, in which he's trying to tempt Max and Calla to join his corporate lackeys.
I see big opportunities. I see chances to succeed. I see big opportunities. You can be happy and Larry. Come over to the dark side. 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 We've got cookies.
How's it go?
See. And he also gets to sing God Forgive Me, which is loosely based on the Crashaw legend of the guy who knows he's dying, but he still wants to get into heaven, so he comes up with a way of putting God Forgive Me on his gravestone. But I'm not giving too much away, but comes to a sticky end.
I am not long for this world. Hoist me up and lay my body in the ground.
Would you say that you've got a face of a baddie?
Yeah.
You've been buying new pedals then, Billy?
I have. I've gone TC Electronic crazy.
Yeah, they're all there, aren't they? Is that going to make you play better?
It's going to make me play louder.
I think when I was first starting, my agent used to try and put me up for Juve leads and tell me to dye my grey hair black, but I thought she was being optimistic, because I always had a slightly broken nose and
So you're a multi-instrumentalist, aren't you, Tim?
2 or 3.
2 or 3. And how good a drummer are you?
Oh, I'm being modest now.
11.
11.
Who's your favourite drummer?
Clenberg.
Clenberg from the
Blondie.
pop group Blondie. That's not a usual sort of answer from anybody. It's usually Keith Moon.
No.
How good was Ringo Starr?
as good as he needed to be.
Was he the best drummer in the Beatles?
No. That's an old one. Paul McCartney.
What's your favourite song from Green, Tim?
When I grow up.
Talk, gossip on the down, cliche squad. Tedious opinion, lame brain jokes between the spokes of a spinning wheel. Constant chatter of a million debates, sucking up to the mean-eyed Billy no mates. Stuck in a loop in a barbed group between the spokes of a spinning wheel. She's in a coma, but she's under the impression that she's still online. She's in a coma, on a drip feed, but she's social networking all the time.
I play the accordion as my main instrument. I do a lot of the sort of vintage dance styles on it, like folk music and tangos and a little bit of Charleston. And before I did any of that, I played the flutes in the classical world. My favourite flautist is the Irish wooden flautist. Forgotten his name.
Or is it the guy from Focus?
No, it's the guy from Focus. Yeah, I can't remember what his name was.
Well, everyone says Ty Van Leer, but it could be Thys Van Leer.
What he said.
Thys Van Leer? I don't know.
My favourite flautist is the guy he said.
Come over to the dark side, we got cookies, we could really use a man like you! And the pain that dies of manipulating lies, I won't pay that roll up in the kick in my soul. Come over to the dark side, come over to the dark side, come over to the dark side. Come over to the dark side, come over to the dark side, come over to the dark side, we got cookies! Is that the second part?
The second part goes to D instead of C.
Barely count.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Can't remember. Cat Stevens, was it? Some Cat Stevens song, was it? No, it was
so,
Sonny and Cher, what was it? It was
Sonny and Cher. Oh yeah, Sonny and Cher.
I Got You, Babe, isn't it?
That's right, yeah, it is I Got You, Babe.
She's in a coma, but she's under the impression that she's still online. She's in a coma, on a drip feed, but she's social networking all the time.
I noticed that you bring the age of the band down quite considerably.
Yes, probably I think it's about 30 years or something, I'm not entirely sure. I think
When you find yourself a musician and working for the man and skint, not able to pay the rent, you sit down and you think, what shall I do? What shall I do? I know, I'll write a rock opera. And that's the first thing that musicians think. I think it's quite a common thing for people to write rock operas.
Tell me about the theme of it, Greed.
The theme is, 18 months ago, I got interested in, it's all online now, is it working?
Yeah, it's all fine. I'm just showing some atmospheric shots of other cars and things like that.
18 months ago, or 2 years ago, I got into what's happening in the world, and I was shocked. And whether you believe, on the internet, whether you believe it or not, but it does make you think.
Rothschilds.
Well, the Rothschilds, if you said to the average
Lizard people?
Well, they're not lizards, because I think that David Icke was probably, what do they call it? Counterintelligence.
Oh.
Most of what he says is probably true, and some things are just red herrings. But the bottom line was I learned about the Rothschilds and all that kind of stuff.
And the banking fraternity.
Banking, they own the banking, and I said to Karen one day, Britain's in debt, so many billions, to who? And she said, well, is it other countries? And I looked into this and I thought, well, no, they're all in debt. So the world is in debt. To who? Mars? And the answer was no, it's in debt to private companies who who are the banks. What are they paranoid about?
Well,
what
this whole thing
can be paranoid about.
Well, any threat to their interests. I mean, I think they know they've been found out. I mean, I think they don't care. I mean,
26 dB more power in that pedal, mate.
Is it would you say it's quite cynical? It's very funny in places.
Well, you could write...
Is there a happy ending?
Yes. You were there, weren't you?
It's all lies, it's all lies, it's all lies. All the nights take the biscuits while we'll take the risk. It's in the skies, in the skies, in the skies. All the nights drop the poison while we'll take the hit.
Well, I think there's only about 10 years difference between me and you anyway, so...
Well, but in reality, I guess, maybe.
I think we're all around about the 30 mark.
Yeah. I suppose, in reality, yeah.
No D!
in the media, not just the media, but on television, for example, obviously there are distractions. It's bread and circuses. They're you know, if they don't want you to know the truth, it's not enough to leave a vacuum. They have to fill it with something else.
Let's have a close-up of that plectrum.
It's a John Petrucci Jazz 3.
Right.
All revolving doors. They're all part of the same clique, elite club.
But he owns newspapers and radio stations and TV.
Yeah,
as well.
they control the media, everything, as it says in the song.
So, does that happen in real life?
Absolutely.
Okay. Oh, right, okay. Bollocks!
Greed the Rock Opera, Theatre Pacaniog, Friday, February 27th. Let's see if we can put an end to this oppression, exploitation and greed. See if we can put an end to Rotkin. Rotkin must die. There is a happy ending. There is a ghost guitarist called Mickey J, and Mickey J roams the streets of Abertaff at night playing his guitar, very loosely based on Mickey Jones from Man, the legendary guitarist. And he that character meets Max Ancala, the main character, and teaches him how to play the big chord. And the big chord is like a Pete Townsend type power chord, and the village learn how to play the big chord, and this chord creates a virus, and the virus only kills the bankers and the politicians and the rich people and the greedy people, and so they comically explode.
Is there a cure for greed? Not the rock opera, but
no, there's no
there
cure.
isn't.
I thought I'd be really mean and decide that there wouldn't be a cure, so there is no cure for this naturally occurring chord-induced virus. And some people might say, well, that's a load of rubbish, but we do put a disclaimer at the end that greed is a fairy tale and it probably wouldn't happen. And then he says, would it?